There are moments in an NBA player's journey when the future becomes clouded, as hazy as smoke inside a packed arena. At just 22, Jonathan Kuminga now finds himself at that very point. A young and athletic forward who has already shown flashes of becoming a star, Kuminga is now caught in a difficult position, one that reflects both the financial realities of the league and the evolving priorities of a franchise quietly undergoing change. The Golden State Warriors, like many teams this offseason, are grappling with tighter salary cap restrictions, new collective bargaining rules, and a limited market for restricted free agents. Even aggressive front offices like the Phoenix Suns have had to proceed cautiously, as noted by reporter Jake Fisher of the Stein Line. The Suns recently showed preliminary interest in a trade for Kuminga, but their options are limited. On paper, Phoenix, a team built around Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal, lacks the trade assets Golden State would likely demand. They don't have high-value draft picks or rising young players. Their interest appears more exploratory than realistic. This scenario paints a clear picture of today's post-new CBA-NBA landscape. Franchises constrained by financial aprons are wary of making mistakes, so they approach players like Kuminga with both interest and hesitation. In the past, someone in Kuminga's position, a young player with playoff potential and moments of brilliance, might have drawn aggressive offers from other teams, forcing the current club to either match or move on. But things have changed. Most teams today are hesitant to extend offers that could easily be matched, or to tie up cap space in uncertain long-term deals. As a result, Kuminga's market is flooded with informal talks and hypothetical scenarios, but few concrete proposals. The only other team reportedly showing genuine interest is the Sacramento Kings, though Golden State appears set to reject their offer, details of which remain unknown. The fact that even a division rival with a competitive roster and tradable assets can't sway Golden State shows the team still values Kuminga, but within boundaries. And those boundaries are being dictated by the NBA's new financial rules. The Warriors are flirting with the first salary cap apron, sitting around $25 million below the threshold, even though they only have 9 players under contract. If they cross that line, they'll lose flexibility. They won't be able to sign players through sign-and-trade deals, use mid-level exceptions, or even make necessary in-season additions. Within that context, paying Kuminga the contract he reportedly wants, around $25 million annually, according to sources close to him, becomes a structural challenge, not just a basketball decision. The issue isn't about his role or skills. It's about financial flexibility in a system with tighter restrictions than ever before. That's part of why the Warriors have shifted their attention, at least behind closed doors, toward more affordable veterans like Al Horford, age 39, and DeAnthony Melton, who is recovering from a major knee injury. These players are experienced, lower cost, and easier to fit into the cap. But this shift sends a subtle message to Kuminga. He's valuable, just not irreplaceable. Still, there could be a strategic angle here. By holding off on re-signing or trading Kuminga, the Warriors may be buying time. Starting in December, contracts signed in the offseason become eligible for larger trades. The front office might be aiming for a short-term agreement with Kuminga, something incentive-based that keeps him on the roster but allows for more flexibility later. But that plan carries risk. A young player can only wait so long before frustration sets in. If Kuminga feels undervalued, his performance might dip, lowering his trade value. On the flip side, if he has a breakout season, his asking price could skyrocket, or worse, create public tension with management, something Golden State desperately wants to avoid. There's also an emotional layer that can't be ignored. Kuminga was one of the few bright spots during the Warriors' most recent campaign. When the older veterans faltered, and the team fell to the Timberwolves in the playoffs. It was the young forward who provided energy, athleticism, and a developing offensive skill set. Ignoring that moment could be a mistake that's hard to correct. This isn't just a negotiation, it's part of a broader transition. Though Curry, Thompson, and Green remain in the locker room, the Warriors are clearly in search of a new identity. Every move must now be deliberate. Overpaying for an inconsistent player is risky, but so is letting go of a young talent who might thrive elsewhere. Kuminga waits amid this uncertainty. He understands his worth. He knows he won't be the centerpiece on every roster, but he also knows his moment is coming. The pressing question is whether that moment will happen in San Francisco or somewhere else. As teams continue to make moves, Kuminga's future hangs in the balance. That tension, quiet but strategic, could define not only his path, but the next chapter of the Warriors' post-dynasty phase. After years of championships, culture building, and half-court buzzer beaters, the team from San Francisco now faces a pivotal question: how to stay competitive without clinging to the past. Stephen Curry remains a generational talent. Klay Thompson is no longer with the team. Draymond Green still serves as its emotional engine. But time has passed, bodies have aged, and the league has evolved. The NBA of 2025 is more physical, vertically driven, and defensively focused than the league of 2015. The once revolutionary small ball approach now feels less potent. That's part of why a recent trade proposal by Rowan Rahman of Sports Illustrated stirred interest and maybe even hope among Warriors fans. In this proposed deal, the Warriors would acquire Jonathan Isaac, Jet Howard, and Muhammad Guy. The Orlando Magic would receive Gui Santos and Moses Moody. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Hawks would get Goga Bitadze and a 2027 first-round pick. The initial response? Surprise! Isaac has a long injury history that rivals his wingspan. But when you look deeper, the logic becomes clearer. At 6 feet 10, 2.08 meters, Isaac brings elite defensive instincts and rare athleticism. He won't ever be a reliable offensive playmaker, but that's not what the Warriors need. They need a complementary piece, someone who can support Curry's offensive genius and help lighten Draymond Green's defensive load. Rahman explains that the Warriors built their dynasty with Green at the center of a small ball lineup, but that model is fading. At 35, Green can no longer carry the same burden. Isaac would serve as insurance. His offensive limitations and injury concerns make him a risky addition to a championship roster, but defensively, he remains one of the league's best. In fact, calling him elite might be underselling it. In the 2024-25 season, Isaac posted a block percentage of 4.1%, putting him in the 100th percentile among wings. His steal rate of 2.4% was also among the league's elite. As a rebounder, he stood out too, with a 10.3% offensive rebound rate and an 18.3% defensive rebound rate. These numbers are even more remarkable considering Isaac has never completed a full season. Injuries have kept him off the court for much of his career. Yet when he plays, he transforms his team's defense. He anticipates, disrupts, and protects the rim. This is what makes the trade proposal compelling. The Warriors don't need another star. They need someone who complements their existing pieces. Someone who can extend the team's core identity even as its original members grow older. Howard and Guy, while less headline-worthy, bring upside. Howard is a developing shooter with strong pedigree. Guy is raw but athletic, with potential. On the flip side, Santos is promising but unproven. Moody has shown flashes of brilliance but has yet to secure a consistent role. Trading Moody might sting emotionally, he's a fan favorite, but in terms of basketball value, the Warriors would be swapping two underutilized pieces for one defender who might help keep their system intact. With Isaac, The Warriors could run lineups that give Green more rest or let him shift to the wing. They'd gain size and rim protection without sacrificing switchability. And in a playoff series against big teams like the Nuggets, Timberwolves, or Lakers, Isaac could offer physical resistance inside. Still, all of this depends on one uncertain factor: health. Isaac must stay healthy, and so far, that's been more hope than reality. As for Orlando, the Magic appear ready to move on. Their young core, anchored by Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, is deep and versatile. Adding Moody and Santos would provide more youth and flexibility without bloating their payroll. The Hawks, meanwhile, would be exchanging a backup big man for a future first-round pick. A logical step if they're preparing for a rebuild in the post-Trae Young era. In the end, this trade is about calculated risks. The Warriors would be gambling that Isaac could help them squeeze out one more championship run. The Magic would be betting on depth and continuity. The Hawks would be focusing on future assets. But for Golden State, the question cuts deeper. Are they trying to reinvent the style that once revolutionized basketball? Or are they simply trying to stretch the final years of an era that's nearly over? The answer might lie somewhere in between. And perhaps, just maybe, Jonathan Isaac could be that balance. An elite defender with untapped upside, a gamble, but one the Warriors might have to take. After all, this dynasty wasn't built on playing it safe. It was built on vision, boldness, and a bit of madness. And who knows? With Isaac, there could still be one more surprising chapter left in this storied run.